I have a responsibility to not let my heart be troubled. I have to protect that. I have to guard my heart.
Tell myself that.
I have to tell myself that regardless of what's going on. I refuse to allow my heart to be troubled. I refuse to allow myself to be afraid. But how can I do that? Because I understand that, okay, John 16, I'm going to have trials and tribulations in this world, but be of good cheer. How? Because he has already overcome, the world. So it's like I don't have to stress out. I don't have to trip out, because that's how peace comes. You have to know the end. Anyone that knows me know that Christmas is really special. I remember growing up how special my parents always made, Christmas. Even though we weren't a Christian family, we always experienced, Christmas together. And so much family used to come over, but I don't even want to talk about Christmas in regards to what I am getting ready to share, but it still reflects Christmas, because we're going to talk about, the Prince of Peace and how I learned to lean on that Prince of Peace during, a traumatizing almost, if you will, a time of tribulation for me. That's how I was as a mother. Of course, I have 3 beautiful children.
Yes, you do.
All grown, thank God. I have no more little ones to raise. Now I just do the grandma thing. But all of my kids raised right in the home with me and my husband, learning the same foundational principles, having the same kind of core values, if you will, learning the same things as far as the word is concerned, because even though I wasn't raised in a Christian home, we made sure that my children would be raised in a Christian home. And by the time I started having kids, my crazy was gone. Because I was a demonstration of what crazy would happen to be as a wife being married. I really, don't judge me, Jeannie. I'm sorry.
No judgment here. We all have a few stories of our own.
Okay. But, I always wanted to make sure my private practices was in alignment with my public performance as far as my kids were concerned, because my husband was in ministry and I didn't want to turn them off away from the things of God because of what they saw out there and what they saw at home. And so I'm thinking, okay, we're good. We're raising our kids good. They're all doing really good. And then my son, the pastor's son, mama's perfect boy, decides that he wants to go do something totally opposite of what we raised him in. And he got so off and so consumed and caught up with, we would always say maybe a wrong environment, like he was with the wrong people. Well, I learned later that my son was the wrong people. Like, don't be around my son. You know how, because, Christian parents could be very naive. We think we just pray over them and we believe God and they will be the perfect ones ever. Well, okay, I would love to believe that too, but I never really was that naive, but I knew that he happened to be the wrong person to let your child be around. And so my son got into a situation when he was 16, driving in a car he was driving his car and he violated one of our laws, our rules, our bylaws, if you will. Don't ever allow anyone to be in your car that you do not know. So he let someone in his car. They went to like a little fight or whatever in the neighborhood. So the little guy in the back rolls down the window when they're leaving from this fight and shoots a gun off in the back. So of course my son panics and he thinks, okay, this is, they're shooting at us. And the other 2 guys he had in his car said, no, this is him. So he makes them get out. He takes off, but then he eventually turned back around because where are you going to go? Everyone knows you. Like, you're Mike Freeman's son. Everyone at your school knows who your parents are. So he goes back and he goes to the officer and he begins to tell, well, they didn't care what happened that he said happened. They locked my son up at 16 on charges for attempted murder. What do you do with that? As a mother who you think you have raised your children in the fear and admonition of God. Going through that time was probably one of the most difficult times in my life because I almost felt helpless in the natural. But then I had to realize that it wasn't about my strength, nor by my might, but by the Spirit of God that dwells on the inside of me. I had to begin to lean on the Prince of Peace. I understood that it was nothing that I could do in the natural. I had to begin to trust God, to pray, and to believe God for better, and had to believe that my son was telling the truth about his story. Well, thank God, after spending a bunch of money, going through a whole lot of attorney kind of stuff, the mother of the boy who they went to the house to, fight or whatever, he didn't even go to fight. He just went to be there in the crowd. She said that she saw the young guy in the back. So the person who was, on the opposite side, who could have sent my son away, was the one who spoke up and said, I don't want to charge him because I know it wasn't him. And I'm telling you, it's like I had a revelation of what peace happened to be at that particular time. Because even though I said, okay, God, I trust you and you're my peace, it did not do away with how I felt. Sure. And a lot of times people think, you got to feel a certain way or things have to be in alignment in order to experience this peace. Peace is not the absence of conflict, right? But peace will settle you even during the midst of turmoil, where you can really rest. Where that Hebrews 4 says that we labor to enter into that rest. It was like I was really able to labor to enter into that rest, knowing that God was going to give me the outcome that I was believing for.
Let me encourage your hearts today. I know some of you may be dealing with some situations or some turmoil maybe happening in your life right now, and you're looking for this Prince of Peace. You want to experience this peace that passes all understanding. I want to encourage you to start meditating and start thinking about the goodness of God, because peace is not the absence of conflict. So regardless of what you are going through, you can intentionally experience his peace, but it comes through a revelation of who he is and what he has done for you. So spend quality time in his word, knowing that he is there for you, the Prince of Peace.
Thank God you went to court and all of the charges were dropped. But can you imagine if I did not have that peace? How much wasted time I would have had worrying, stressed out, bawling, crying, or whatever over what? Nothing, because when you look back and all of the charges were dropped and somebody stands up for you, it's like we waste so much time stressing over stuff that we don't have to stress over. It's like, God, let me just give it to you. Let me cast my care on you because you care for me. You're perfecting those things that concern me. So that was how I was able to really lean on that peace, knowing that, God, you had me. John 14:27, I love this because it's in the ESV. It says, peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you, not as the world gives do I give to you. And this is the part that I really like right here. It says, let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. That to me means that I have a responsibility. I have a role in righteousness that I am to fulfill as his daughter or as his child. I have a responsibility to not let my heart be troubled. I have to protect
guard
that.
your heart.
I have to guard my heart.
Tell myself
I have to tell myself that regardless of what's going on, I refuse to allow my heart to be troubled. I refuse to allow myself to be afraid. How can I do that? Because I understand that, okay, John 16, I'm going to have trials and tribulations in this world, but be of good cheer. How? Because he has already overcome, the world. So it's like, I don't have to stress out. I don't have to trip out, because that's how peace comes. You have to know the end.
Yeah.
You know the end of something.
Yes.
It's like people go to work all the time and they have peace in their paycheck or in their job. Because they know at the end of the week, they're going to get that paycheck, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, at the end of the week, I'm going to be good because I'm going to be able to pay my bills. Well, we can have that same peace every moment of our lives, because it's not going to be all right. It's already all right. A war is going on all the time.
Yeah.
And so for him to say he's our Prince of Peace, that we can rest in him, the Bible talks about everything that was written aforetime, so we can have hope through the scriptures. It's like, if it's in here, he knew we needed to hear that he can be our peace regardless of what's going on in our life. And so even those that are home experiencing all kind of turmoil, they can just escape on the canvases of their imaginations and just begin to meditate on the goodness of God. It's like, okay, I don't even focus on this. I remember when I wanted to start seeing better in my relationship, and I was so consumed with me in the very beginning. It was like, it was all about me. You're not doing this for me. You're not this. You're not that. Whatever. It was like God had to arrest my soul to get me to think and to see things, a lot different, because I was so off. And when I started thinking about, okay, God, you're good, you're faithful, your word says this, your word decrees this. I mean, it gave me a different view.
Yeah.
And so I began to write my vision. My vision didn't look like it was happening right then, but when you write it on a canvas of your imagination and start seeing what you want to see, you would take your attention off what you're seeing. And I'm not trying to play on words, but you would take your attention off of what you're seeing in the natural and put your attention on what you want to see in the spiritual. And because I did that, it changed me. It changed me. It didn't change my relationship. It didn't change what I was coming home to every day. It did not change that, but it changed how I perceived it and how I saw it. So I started treating him different. And the moment I started treating him different is when I started seeing things change. It was like, God, just let me see something different, because how you see things will dictate to you how you will respond.
That's right.
And if I keep seeing it in the negative, this is how I'm going to respond.
I have totally learned how to drop all negativity at the door. Negativity does not create positivity. It's not worth going back and viewing all of the negative things that could possibly happen in your life, because it's a hindrance. So it's so important that you embrace the Prince of Peace in whatever situation that you're going through, because it will promote you. It will catapult you to a place of rest, if you will. And I want to be at a place of rest. I want to be at a place of peace. So it's easy to lay aside every weight, the scripture says, that easily throws you off. I don't want to be thrown off anymore. I want to be thrown to, I want to be catapulted to the Prince of Peace.
I understand God and his supernatural power and his presence, and I understand all of that. But I do also understand that he dwells on the inside of us, and all of who he is in us.
Yes.
And so where we go, he goes.
We carry it with
We
us.
carry him. So I represent peace. When I step in a situation, I bring peace into a situation. But if I'm absent of the understanding of who I am, I can't bring that in the situation. I know when I changed me, for instance, it was like I brought peace into my home.
Wow.
I wasn't letting peace in my home.
Yeah.
I was like a co-conspirator with the enemy, if you will. It was like we were bringing conflict and chaos. It wasn't peace. But when I took my eyes, stopped making my husband the source of my satisfaction, knowing that God, you are the one who satisfies my soul, that you are the Prince of Peace, and you dwell on the inside of me. What? No. Hell can't reign right here.
Right. And it's his peace inside of you.
Peace.
It's not your peace. It's his peace.
It's his peace. That magnificent obsession of rest that I bring into a situation. It's like, I don't care what's going on. And I'm so different now. I promise you, I can look at a situation now and see something totally different. While everybody else is tripping out in marriages and all different things, I'm looking like, really? Like, how? It's like God will put you in this bubble. It's like you're encapsulated. That's what peace feels like for me. It's like it separates you. Like when they told me my husband was going to die, you know, he wasn't going to survive. It was like I was in such this bubble of peace where nothing could penetrate it. But it comes out again of having a revelation and a relationship with the Word. That's a beautiful thing, his gift to us, right? We always thinking about what we can give to others, but we don't always put our attention on what he did for us.
That free, beautiful gift.
Free, beautiful, right? I do. But I'm thinking about just the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes.
I mean, Jesus is a constant in our life, and we get so caught up in the hustle and bustle of life, going to the malls around this time thinking, oh, this is Christmas, I gotta get out here and do something. But it's like if we can stop and pause and meditate on the goodness of God and what he has done for us and how he's always given himself to us, then we can begin to relax during this time.
At TBN, our mission is to use every available means to reach as many individuals and families as possible with the life-changing gospel of Jesus Christ.
Thank you for helping make the gospel of grace go around the world.
And it's because of you that partner with us that this ministry continues. God bless you.